Welcome to the May edition of What's in Bloom at the Ruth Bancroft Garden. Each month, we go around the garden and make a selection of plants that are in bloom in that particular month, and then put them into a sheet that we hand out to all our garden visitors. So we're going to go through some of the plants that are on this month's What's in Bloom and show you some pictures and tell you a little bit about them. There are lots of desert wildflowers that usually put on a big show right at the beginning of spring when the desert hasn't heated up yet and when conditions are right, and especially in years of good rainfall. And this is one of those. So, this is Penstemon spectabilis. It grows out in the Mojave Desert with cacti and yuccas and agaves around. And it's really a wonderful sight to see all these blue and purple flowers come bursting out in the springtime, and it's doing that right now here at the Ruth Bancroft Garden. Penstemon spectabilis. The genus Beschorneria is a Mexican group, and it's related to the agaves and the yuccas. These used to be in the family Agaveaceae, the agave family, but that has now been moved into the asparagus family. So now it's considered a subfamily, Agavoideae, within the asparagus family. In any case, Beschorneria is a smaller genus than agave, and this one is called Beschorneria yuccoides. In other words, it looks like a yucca, which it's obviously related to. This one, you can see, has an amazing pink flower stalk and these dangling yellowish and green flowers, and really makes a wonderful effect when it's in flower, but it doesn't flower every year. This is a special event that it's in flower, and so the flowering progresses over the course of the summertime. Probably takes a couple months for it to finish flowering, but really a wonderful sight. This is a variegated plant, which means the chlorophyll is partly missing from the leaves, and that results in a yellow midstripe on the leaf. Sometimes that can result in streaks of yellow on the stalk, but this one's not doing that. Beschorneria yuccoides. This is a very rare aloe from South Africa called Aloe buhrii. It's related to Aloe striata, which has a big distribution farther east, but this is a true winter rainfall plant from the western part of South Africa, and the flowers could be yellow or orange. This is a more yellow flowered one, but a very rare plant in habitat, Aloe buhrii. There are lots of cacti with spectacular flowers, and they usually don't make it onto What's in Bloom because they don't stay in flower continuously for a long enough period of time. But here are some excellent examples. This one is called Trichocereus flying saucer, and that one's called Trichocereus giant yellow. So these are hybrids from South America with spectacular flowers. The Crassula family, Crassulaceae, is often called the stonecrop family because so many of its members grow on rocks. And one of the genera is Aeonium. So there are Aeoniums in Northeast Africa and in Morocco, but the great majority of the species come from the Canary Islands. And that's true of this one, Aeonium simsii, which is from the island of Gran Canaria. And it grows at higher elevations, generally 4,000 to 6,000 feet. And as a result, has more cold tolerance than a lot of Aeoniums do. It has small individual rosettes and a relatively short inflorescence, but with bright yellow flowers, making a beautiful display in the springtime. There are little teeny tiny teeth along the edge of the leaves, but not sharp at all. And this is a great plant for a small scale ground cover because of the many heads in a clump. Now note that this clump right here is a hybrid of simsii, but with larger heads and a paler color flower. True simsii has a bright yellow flower and is really a wonderful plant for a garden in California. Aeonium simsii. The ice plant family is a very large family, a little less than 2,000 species, and the great majority of them come from South Africa. Some are common in cultivation, like this one, Lampranthus spectabilis, but many hundreds are not even in cultivation at all. Lampranthus spectabilis is highly valued for its burst of color in the springtime. So it makes a mass display of flowers for a few weeks in the spring, and that's it for the year. But that display is so intense that these are widely used as bedding plants. So people will plant them even in places where it's too cold to grow them year round for their spring display and then pull them out and start again next year. Lampranthus spectabilis has flowers in various shades of pink and magenta and purple, and ours reseed, so they keep on coming up with a variety of colors. This one here is such a pale pink, it's almost white, but you can see the range of colors in this patch. Lampranthus spectabilis. Echium is a genus in the Boraginaceae, or the borage family, and this one is Echium wildpretii from the Canary Islands. So this is a biannual. So on the first year, it just makes a rosette of leaves and stores up its energy. The second year, it makes this amazing spire of flowers and then dies afterwards. Its common name is the Tower of Jewels, and I think you can see why. There are other echiums that form a bush and have lots of heads. So when each individual branch goes into flower and dies, there are still other branches and the bush continues. But this one, having a single rosette, the flowering is the end of the line. However, it makes lots of seeds, comes up from seed, and we can then have it again. Echium wildpretii. This brings us to the end of our May What's in Bloom video. But there are so many other things to see in the garden that aren't on the What's in Bloom list, including this beautiful purple-flowered aleogeny and all kinds of cacti that are flowering now. So by all means, come to the Ruth Bancroft Garden and check it all out for yourself. If you're not near enough by to do that, we have a website with lots of wonderful visuals. We have these videos of What's in Bloom from prior months. We have plant highlights, and we have lots of social media pictures, lots to see. The Ruth Bancroft Garden.